Thank you. That seemed quite a long intro, Jerry. Good to see. Thanks very much, and thanks for your time, and thanks for letting me tell you a little bit about Cassini Resources. We've got a pretty exciting couple of months ahead of us, which hopefully I can give you a sense of what's to come. This presentation was lodged on the ASX this morning, so I will skip over some stuff just due to time. Cassini is really an explorer and developer based in Perth. Market cap of sort of circa $40 million. We've got cash of about $9.5. We've got some good supportive shareholders, courtesy of a recent placement that we just completed. We've actually performed reasonably well compared to our peers, I guess, over the last 6 months, and there's some good reasons for that. So a little bit about us as a company. So we've got a number of assets. Our primary asset is the West Musgrave project that we are in partnership with Oz Minerals. Oz have just gone through their 70%, their maximum amount of earn-in. The great thing about this project is it's a project of scale, but it's also a project where there's some development assets, but significant amount of exploration upside. So hopefully I'll give you that sense. The pre-feasibility study is currently underway, and that's being done at the Nebo-Babel deposits. There's also another deposit about 13 kilometres away from those other two. So you can see we're in a mining camp with 3 deposits to date. And then there are also a number of other exploration targets that we're actively drilling last year and this year. So we're currently drilling at the One Tree Hill prospect, and I'll talk you through that. Apart from the West Musgrave, we've also got some early stage exploration projects in gold in Western Australia, and also another nickel and copper sort of mafic intrusive quite close to Perth, which is unusual for us. All our projects are reasonably remote, but that's a project that's an early stage project that I'll also walk you through. So just some recent events. So as I said, we raised $7 million recently at a slight premium to our market price at the time. We've got a new corporate shareholder on board, Tinci Materials, who are one of the largest battery electrolyte producers in China. And once again, it's a great validation of this project and the support that is there for Cassini to get this through and really provide us some options around the funding as we go forwards. The West Musgrave project, Oz beat their 70% earn-in by about 14 months, which gives you some indication about I guess, how they view the project and the speed at which they're going, which is a really great, once again, endorsement. The PFS, we've had some positive outcomes in pretty much all the work packages. That PFS is on schedule to be completed by the end of June with a release early in Q3. And there's a number of field activities, including some exploration work that's currently ongoing. So just to give you a bit of a sense of the project, as I said, it's in remote Western Australia. This is actually looking over the Nebo deposit with the resource drill out. We currently have 3 deposits within the project area. The whole project package is about 1,600 square kilometres, so it is a project of scale. We're currently drilling down at One Tree Hill, which is an exploration stage prospect. There's been a considerable amount of drilling done, sort of resource infill drilling done at Nebo and Babel, and some further exploration work at Succotash and also Yapsu. And apologies for these names, they were thought up by the previous owner, being Western Mining and BHP. A little bit about the joint venture. As I said, Oz have been a fantastic partner to work with. They've approached this project with a significant amount of momentum. They've achieved their $36 million earn-in, which gave them their maximum 70% of the project, sort of 14 months ahead of schedule. They'll continue to self-fund the study works until delivery of a bankable feasibility study. So from a Cassini perspective, that ensures that we won't get diluted out during the study phase. The study will cost more than the $36 million, and that's because the project is now significantly bigger than we contemplated when we first did the joint venture. Anything that overruns that $36 million, Cassini's loan carry till 5 years after production. So for us, it's relatively cheap capital. Oz managed the pre-feasibility study, and Cassini manages a lot of the field activities and the exploration. So currently we've got about 50 people on site in the exploration camp. We've got about 4 rigs on site, and Cassini manages all those field sort of work packages. We've had some great wins during the PFS. So there's a significant amount of work that's going on. Oz have got a project team of sort of circa 8 to 10 people that they employ, and plus a number of consultants that are working on this. We've looked at a number of new opportunities. For those of you who have not heard Andrew Cole speak or are unaware of the culture of Oz, they really position themselves as a modern mining company, and they've looked at a number of great options around how to reduce CapEx and reduce our OpEx in this project as we go forwards. This won't just be a sort of a boilerplate mine. It's going to be able to take advantage of a lot of innovation work that's come out of some of Oz Minerals' remote operations and advances in technology. So we've looked at mine automation and a number of process options. We've had some good wins around the metal recovery, which I'll talk to you about. We've released a resource statement about a month ago with a significant increase in the confidence around the resource from an indicated, so inferred to an indicated category, which will allow us to report a longer mine life than we did at the scoping study. And we've also done a significant amount of work around the environmental and land access and our engagement with the community there. Cassini have been working out in this area now since about 2013, and we have a great relationship with the community. And that's really, I guess, validated by, we had a site meeting about a month ago with about 150 local TOs and Indigenous people from the community there. So we've got an excellent relationship as we develop this project going forwards. Probably one of the more significant pieces of work that was done, that we've had great results from, is the metallurgy. These nickel and copper sulfide projects, really a lot hinges on the metallurgy and the metal recoveries. And for those of you who have been in this space, any improvement in the metal recoveries and the concentrate grade really all goes to the bottom line. So these sorts of improvements have significant impacts on the MPV. So it's a very conventional grind and float process. Due to the mineralisation, there's really no sort of deleterious elements in the concentrate, so no arsenic and nothing that makes the processing too difficult. We've had some significant gains around the recovery, as I've said. So in terms of about a 12% increase in the copper recovery compared to the scoping study, and about an 8.5% increase in the nickel recovery, and all that was on a lower head grade. So some really positive outcomes with the met work. During the scoping study, we know we've got a good demand for this product. We will produce a separate nickel and copper concentrate on site, and from the market soundings that we've done, we know we'll have a premium product that people will be interested in. So this project has I guess really the foundation stone is this Nebo-Babel deposits that are subject to the PFS. But just to give you a sense of the upside in this project from an exploration point of view, it's very significant. And also to give you an idea of the scale. So this is a 40-kilometre mineralised trend from One Tree Hill in the sort of southwest here, where we're currently drilling, all the way up to some other mineralised prospects called sewers. We've done a lot of work around the deposits at Nebo-Babel, and we've had a very successful drilling program last year. So pretty much the technical team that we have now have really become very efficient around targeting and successfully targeting sort of mineralisation in this region. So we did some drilling at Succotash, where we hit additional mineralisation. At Yapsu, where there's only been 5 holes drilled previously, we intersected some massive sulphide zones with a large tail of disseminated sulphides. We've also had some good extensional drilling at Nebo and Babel, which will add to that resource over time. And then we've also had some success at One Tree Hill, and the drill rig is currently out there now. So just perhaps to give you some sense of Succotash, Succotash is primarily a copper deposit that's about 13 kilometres away from Nebo-Babel. It's very sparsely drilled, and you'll see this purple outline is the existing resource, which is in that inferred stage. It's about 156 million tonnes at 0.6 copper, close to surface, and with some PGEs. Recent drilling has shown that probably our interpretation of this mineralisation was a little bit conservative. It's added significantly to what we believe the ultimate resource will be, and also to the economics of this deposit through sort of vertical tonnes per metre and lowering of the strip ratio. So we drilled a section And then we've also got another section that we're currently drilling, that we're going to drill in the next 2 weeks, about 400 metres away. And that will help reinforce that model and help us come out with an updated resource in the future. So just to give you some sense of this, that was the sort of the interpretation of the geological model prior to drilling that cross-section. So we went back in and drilled 3 holes on that cross-section, had significant results, and you can see the impact that's had. Rather than a subvertical sort of mineralised orientation, we're now looking at this folded hinge, a lot flatter, a lot more sort of ore per square metre, and much better strip ratio. The great thing about Succotash is that that's currently not in the mine plan for Nebo Babel. We think it gives us enormous optionality to copper and to increase the mine life at the Nebo Babel sort of processing facility by another 10 or 20 years, which is why we're really confident we'll have a multi-decade mining opportunity between Succotash, Nebo Babel, and then any other additional sort of deposits that we can delineate over the next few years. So One Tree Hill, this has had about 5 or 6 holes previously. We drilled it late last year and came up with some good intersections, about 25 metres at sort of 0.6, and then some areas of massive, primarily copper mineralisation. It does look like it's part of a large system. There were some historical holes drilled by Western Mining and BHP, sort of 200 metres away, which also provided for some anomalous PGE. So there's an enormous PGE halo around this deposit. We did some downhole EM off that drill hole and generated this large downhole conductor, which sits off to the east of the cross-section that had been drilled. We're currently in the process of drilling that to test that target, and we should expect to hit that target over the next week or so. This is a project where if you took out the development assets, it's still probably, we believe, one of the most exciting exploration projects going on, and the opportunity to add further value to this project and to Cassini as we go through with this exploration work, which is currently funded by our partner, Oz Minerals. So a little bit about the timeline. I've talked about the PFS is due out sort of shortly after in Q3. We've actually brought forward some of that DFS work already, so we're currently doing some of the DFS drill out now around Nebo and Babel. Once again, gives you a sign of the confidence that Oz has with this project, and we expect to have a final investment decision towards the end of 2020. So apart from the West Musgrave project, Cassini has a couple of other projects that it runs. Yarrawinda Brook is a project that Cassini has exercised an option to earn 70% of. It's located near New Norcia, which is about 150 k's north of Perth. We've taken really, I guess, our understanding and knowledge that we've developed from the West Musgrave project and really applying it to an underexplored resource. Yarrawinda has had a broken exploration history, last drilled back in 2007. You can see it's had some reasonably high-grade nickel hits, but we've now flown some EM, generated some new conductors, and we're just finalising some of the access agreements with the pastoralists to get on the ground, and we'd be expecting getting on the ground there in the next couple of months. It's probably taken us a little bit longer to get on the ground than we'd hoped, but it's really a procedural thing rather than anything that we believe is going to be an issue. The other exploration project we've got, which Cassini owns 100%, is the Mount Squires Gold Project. Once again, it's had minimal history. It was last drilled in 2009. It's had some interesting gold hits. As you can see, we've consolidated a land package and really reanalysed or reinterpreted a lot of the data. We believe there's about a 50-kilometre prospective trend. Once again, as with most exploration, the initial drilling is really following up surface anomalies. So we believe that there are more prospective parts of that structure that are undercover, and we're looking forward to getting out there in Q3 this year. So investing in Cassini, I think we are realising value. So there are very few of these large-scale, long-life nickel and copper sulphide projects in the world. There are probably 3 that are at PFS stage or greater. And as you heard from Rob Murdoch this morning, if you're in nickel, sulphide's where you want to be. and there are very few projects like this, especially in safe first world jurisdictions. We've de-risked it significantly by having a strong joint venture partner. Oz have significant remote mine operating experience. It complements our exploration and I guess target generation capabilities. They're a good partner. They've got probably another 10 or 12 joint ventures that they are progressing. Cassini is probably the most advanced, but it is, I guess, a check that makes them behave in a way that the partnerships are important to Oz. We think there's a significant re-rate opportunity with releasing of the PFS. It'll give some visibility around the economics. It provides that milestone, I guess, where a lot of the analysts who follow Oz will start to ascribe some value to this project into Oz and then through, by flow through to Cassini. And whilst it's a little bit early, I think the PFS also gives us an opportunity to talk about how Cassini is going to fund its part. The way the joint venture works, Cassini has 30% of the offtake to deal with. We also have a number of opportunities, and having a partner like Oz who have publicly come out and said that they would look to support us in funding our part of the CapEx is important. So we'll look forward to update the market on that. The continued exploration spend in our own right, where we're well funded, but also at the West Musgrave, where Oz Minerals are actually funding, gives us an opportunity to increase the value of that project. And then we believe we're in the right spot. If you look at that timeline, coming into production in sort of 2023 sort of aligns very well when the increased demand for battery metals is, and nickel sulphide especially, is forecast. So thank you very much. We're at the booth. If anyone has any further questions, we'd love to have a chat. Thanks.
Thank you, Richard.